Hi, I'm DiPhilippo. I live here in South Portland. I've lived here all my life. I actually went to Kaler School, went to Mahoney Junior High, and then graduated from South Portland High School in 1986. I'm very, very concerned about the Waterfront Protection Ordinance that has come forward here in South Portland. I'm concerned about the Waterfront Protection Ordinance that has come to South Portland because this ordinance came here, brought about really by outside interests. It did not come really from within South Portland. We've had a long history in South Portland. I've lived here my whole life and I understand the history of our city and how we've come to be the way that we are. I find it actually ironic because we have such a great community in South Portland. It's an unusual community for people from outside. They come in and they see that we have these walkways that go in and amongst our neighborhoods. They go along the waterfront. They also go through and across business lands and across next to oil tank farms. And an outside person could look at our community and think, boy, that is a really strange place. Those of us who live here know that this is an amazing place to live. I've couldn't be happier. I've chosen South Portland as a place to live. I'm raising my children here. It was, again, a conscious choice. We could have raised our children somewhere else. But it's a wonderful community. And so here these people came from outside the community and felt that instead of doing business the way that we normally do in South Portland, which has really stood our community well, and the way we've done business is that we generally work together in our community. Our people here have learned how to talk amongst each other, we form committees to go over issues. So whether it's a committee bringing it forward or it goes to the planning board or it goes through the city council, we have public meetings, we have hearings. The process is quite extensive, but it brings out all different sides of an issue. This new initiative that has come up, like I said, it feels like it comes from outside interests. They've come to our community and instead of going through the process that we normally have here, they have brought this through as a referendum. And so one person writes a referendum and then it was circulated in our community. I know that the information that was provided at the time when they were circulating that petition, I know the information was not correct because I was approached a number of times. I was approached at my home, I was approached at the post office, I was approached where I work. I had many different people approach me and try to get me to sign that. What they were saying was not true. If you are unsure and think, oh, I need to make this go through today, that's just not true. You don't need to vote on it to stop anything today. There is plenty of time for us to sit down as a community and talk about this issue and talk about our future. We have a long, long history of South Portland of sitting down together, getting all the players in one place, bringing all the facts out, thoroughly discussing it, analyzing it, talking about the effects of having wording one way or the other. We know how to do business in South Portland. I think if you look at our history, and again, just look at our community the way it is today and how beautiful it is here, the fact that people are flocking to our community because it is so wonderful and it's a desirable place to come. That didn't just happen. That happened because we have a way of doing business and we have very thoroughly and thoughtfully thought about the way we want our future to look, and we've taken the actions to make sure that it looks the way we want it to be. And what I would say to you now is please vote no on the WPO. Let's put this faulty worded ordinance behind us and let's sit down as a community and talk together and come up with an answer that works for all of us. I do know people who work at some of these companies and I know they're very concerned about the future of their company. I know they're concerned about their jobs, obviously. But I'm concerned what this would mean for the Port of Portland and about our tax base here in South Portland. I haven't seen any discussion on how would you make up for that. Well, you know how it gets made up for is that the tax base shifts onto residents. So you either have businesses there that are helping support your tax base, or we as residents need to pay for that. Now you can only bring taxes up so high, and I think taxes are pretty high right now in South Portland, so I do worry about that, whether my family can afford to live here. How much more of a tax increase can we absorb in our family and be able to stay here? It can only go up so high, and then you reach a point where you can't anymore, and then you need to start to cut city services. And so now you start to talking about city jobs that start getting eliminated in order to try to bring that budget down so that we can afford it as residents to live here. And so then I worry about city services going away. I worry about the fire department getting cut. I worry about the police department getting cut. I worry about all kinds of things. Cape Elizabeth doesn't have trash pickup. Will they propose that we don't have trash pickup here? Again, you start to worry about, where do those cuts, where do they make the cuts in order to absorb the tax loss that we've had. So I have a lot of concerns about taxes in South Portland and how they'd be affected. If you vote no on the WPO, this particular referendum, as it was worded, just goes away. It gives us all the opportunity to sit down to the table and talk about what the future of our community, what we want it to look like.